So let us put this in perspective. If I gave you a plot for a show about a Greek expat and an Indian going through the shorelines of BC looking for logs that are broke off and logging booms, I say, okay, the show will represent Canada for over 30 years. It'll have over 350 episodes and considered the greatest Canadian TV export of all time. You're going to say either you're totally crazy or you're totally correct. So today we're doing a short look, because you could do 50 hours of podcast on the impact of the show, on the Beachcombers. Now, the beloved Canadian comedy drama TV series ran on CBC from 1972 to 1990. With over 350 episodes, is one of the longest running drama series ever made for Canadian English language television. Now, the Beachcombers followed the life of Nick Adonidas, played by Bruno Gerussi, a Greek-Canadian log salvager in BC who earned a living traveling the coastline northwest of Vancouver with his partner Jesse Jim, played by Pat John, aboard their logging tug to Persephone. They were tracking down logs that broke away from barges and logging booms. The chief business competitor is Relic, Robert Cloutier, whose actual name is Stafford T. Phillips, a somewhat unsavory person who will occasionally go to great lengths to steal business and logs from Nick. The series also focus on a supporting cast of characters in Nick's hometown of Gibsons, often centering on a cafe, Molly's Reach, run by Molly, played by Ray Brown, a mother figure to virtually all the characters of the series, including Relic. In addition, Molly rented out a room to Nick as living quarters and office space for his salvage business. Molly had two grandchildren living with her, Huey, played by Bob Park, and his younger sister Margaret, played by Nancy Chappelle in the first season, then by Juliet Randall from the second season onward. Other characters include, again, Nick's Indigenous business partner friend Jesse Jim, played by, again, Pat John, and RCB Constable John Constable, played by Alberta-born Jackson Davies. Now, the series pilot episode was called Jesse's Card. It was turned down by CBC for broadcast. The first episode to air was Partners and described how Jesse and Nick formed their business ties. Now, the Beachcombers was normally shown on Sunday nights, I think after the Waltons in most jurisdictions, and it basically became a Sunday night staple, kind of like, a family drama that the problems of the world can be solved in 30 minutes. Now, they did some topical plots, but it was mostly Nick against Relic for most of the key years. Now, like I had mentioned, during the run of the series, storylines became more complex as the characters developed, and many episodes focus on Nick's Greek heritage. Now, the series' musical score was composed by orchestrated by Canadian composer and producer Bobby Halas, and later by Vancouver-based composer Claire Lawrence. Of course, the music is off the top of your head. Now, if you're Canadian, of course. Numerous Vancouver area musical artists appeared on the soundtracks of the series, including Constantinola. Now, the series has been like rejigged through the years. There was a reboot in the 2000s and kind of a mini reboot in the 1988. Now, with the CBC announcing that the intent was to give the aging show a new look, coinciding with the replacement of the show's original theme music with new composition. Subsequent funding cutbacks at a government-supported CBC, however, led to Beachcombers being cancelled, even though it was still popular in its homeland and syndicated around the world, though attempts to revamp the series by giving it more suspenseful storylines and making it more action-oriented met with fan criticism. Now, the final episode had Nick accused of stealing logs during a time when rising expenses were causing many Beachcombers to seek another occupation. The story ended with Nick saying to Relic, "We gave him a run for the money, didn't we?" Now, filming locations was, of course, in Gibsons and the surrounding area. The famous cafe featured in the show was built as a hardware store in 1934 and served various retail functions until rented as a film set for the series, used mainly for exterior shots and storage. Now, the building itself sat vacant for years with uncertain future. Eventually, investors converted to a functioning restaurant under television-expired name Molly's Reach. As of August 2023, the restaurant is closed and the property is available for lease, but has just showing up on a few Hallmark productions. Now, Persephone, the boat used by Nick Adonidas during filming, was a tug and workboat named John Henry, built in 1965. The tug was chartered during series production from Harry Smith, who donated to the town of Gibsons in 1991. The vessel sat outside the town works department gravel pit, but were deteriorated quite badly, until it was restored by the Sunshine Coast Museum and Archives. Persephone was installed in a small park near Molly's Reach in 2007. Now, Relic's jet boat, And by the way, there's never been any like I said, sets you could buy. You would think it was on for so many years you could buy Relic's boat, or there was a Beachcomber board game, but it was never been. Now, there were two jet boats used by the character Relic. The one most fans remember was called Highballer 2 and was used from the second season until the end. The first craft, Highballer 1, was used for the first season. She was slightly smaller than her successor and had more square windows. She did reappear for an episode called Jet Boat Gemini in 1974. Both boats were seen together as the man in the second craft was impersonating Relic, who was stealing logs and harassing local residents until Relic saved the day at the end in a duel of jet boats. Now, the series itself was syndicated around the world. It was shown by ITV in the UK, SCTV in Indonesia, and on PBS, as well as in syndication on commercial stations in the States. It's also been shown in Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, South Africa, Ireland, Greece, Italy, Kuwait, the Seychelles, Malaysia, Brunei, and Egypt. The West German television station ZDF also broadcast the series as Strandipaten, which means beach pirates. The show was shown in reruns on Vision TV and the pre-news channel version of Sun TV in Canada, and of course, it's been a regular feature of the Aboriginal People's TV network, APTN in Canada, and of course, ALN in the United States. So the only thing you know about Canada is the Beachcombers. Like I said, most Canadians don't make money about getting, logs off a bait. Like I said, there's better ways to do it. But like I said, a simple show and a simple presentation, and created by the Strange couple, Mark Strange and Lynn Susan Strange. But like I said, the 19 seasons, 387 episodes, October 1st, 72, December 12th, 1990. Now, the full series, I think it's available on CBC through one of their subgroups. But ladies and gentlemen, when we heard that theme song on Sunday night, we knew the weekend was done. And the thing is, if you wanted to stay up and watch a show, you could stay up. So no parents, I think, would stop people from watching the Beachcombers. I don't know of any person. But it was a weird time on our Channel 4, CHJ CBC. You had the Waltons at 6, which can be a little bit radical, but when you had the Beachcombers at 7. And the thing is, you had to show a lot of Canadian Canadian content in that 7 o'clock hour, and it fit the bill. Now, at one point, I think, CBC has many shows right now that you show first run, sold internationally. I think the biggest exports at the time was the Beachcombers, maybe Danger Bay as well, which did well, Littlest Hobo, and Degrassi, whatever version, junior high or high. But the Beachcombers, again, a top 10 Canadian show of all time, simple in presentation, simple in plot. But like I said, we love the characters. We love the battle between Bruno and Relic, because everybody in your life has Nick and Relic. Everybody has a Nick and everybody has a Relic. And Relic wasn't just a bad guy, but he was a money hungry guy. He would always find a price. And like I said, he wasn't a pure villain. He was sort of like a dastardly cartoon come to light. But the Bruno Gerussi became a household word in Canada. And like I say, he was traveling internationally. I think he did an interview on the Purdy Zosky show. He said, I go into the airport in Toronto and everybody wants my autograph. He said, when I arrive in Florida, like I said, some vacation area down there, nobody knows who I am. I'm just another Greek, so that sums it up. And don't forget his cooking show. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're doing here with our Canadian TV podcast, let us know what I like, comment, subscribe, or share.